Raptors make it 2 in a row as they take this one over the Chicago Bulls. 121-108. Welcome to Raptors Tonight, live from Real Sports. I'm Randy Irvin, joined by Jack Armstrong, Leo Rautins, and Paul Jones. That is an ovation.
It's all for you, brother.
I don't think so.
It's all for you.
Friday night crowd.
Yeah, Friday night.
Celebrity status right there.
They're feeling
Got a
good.
little loose tonight on Friday.
Say, I want to hang with Randy.
To line Friday night, just got paid, party hunting. Feeling right?
Friday Night Lights. Jonesy, felt like one of the more complete performances for the Raptors. Everybody kind of had a hand in this one.
I thought they started and played with tremendous energy off the jump. They really did. And the more and more I watch this team, the more and more I see Darko's vision of how they want to play, especially on the offensive end, coming together.
Right.
I don't know if you can look at his statistical impact and say, oh, Pascal had a terrific game. The numbers don't bear out.
He had a terrific game.
He had a terrific game.
Yeah.
Attracting to, he had 7-8 assists in the first half.
Yeah, 5 in the
At
first
the end of the third
5
quarter,
minutes.
I said this is the best 11-point game he's ever played.
Absolutely.
He ended up with
Absolutely.
18 or whatever, but still.
And all the other guys were involved, moving the ball, cutting with purpose. You can see all of the offensive vision starting to come to fruition. And when they play like that, they did a good job defensively. I thought they let down in the second half a little bit defensively.
Yeah.
But you can see the basis of what they want, and you can see the big picture. They play like this. What's this now? 12 games with 25 or more assists.
Yeah.
It's a franchise record. And we're 15, 16 games in.
Yeah.
So it got a little dicey there in the fourth quarter. How did you see them regain their composure?
I thought they responded well tonight, coming out of timeouts and being organized, getting good shots, playing with a lot of energy and organization. To your point before when you were asking about Jonesy, the first 10 made baskets tonight were all assisted. Mm-hmm. So it was just a really good trend to see that they're playing together. But I just thought tonight they responded. They were the better team. Mm-hmm. I
You
think
knew that run was coming, and then when
of course it's going to come.
Yeah,
They have great individual scores. I just think the Raptors look like a team that gets along and plays well together. I don't think the Bulls have that same. I don't get that.
Bulls got issues.
I don't get that same spirit from them. It's disjointed. It's sometimes they look okay, and other times they just look like. But to me, I think the Raptors just look like a real together group right now.
They're coming, Jack. They're becoming more and more together as you see some of the screen roll stuff with Jakob Poeltl. I love the way people have adapted to the roles.
Right.
Like Precious, again tonight, was terrific off the bench. Malachi was steady again tonight off the bench. Guys are falling into their roles, and everybody knows what's expected, and I think that's helping the entire machine perform better.
Leo, we all remember the last time these two teams played, and I think the loss was more self-inflicted than anything.
Yeah.
But it felt like a little bit, the beginning of the game was a little bit of a revenge game, even though, Raptors kind of did it to themselves.
Sure, they remember that game, and they said, hey, we gave one away.
Yeah.
Right? But it's also coming on the heels of the Indiana game, which was it was an energy game, right? And they got up and down the floor, they did a lot of good things, and that energy transferred over again. I really thought, I'm watching the first half, and I'm going, I like this.
Right.
I like it. There's energy at both ends of the floor. The ball's popping, guys are guarding, they're getting out and running. And so it's, and what's the one thing that's jumped out at all of us on a lot of these games early in the season? Where's the energy?
Yeah.
Where's the energy? Now we've seen back-to-back games now with great energy. And if there's one thing I hope these guys realize is when they, before we went on the air, we're talking, Jonesy and I are talking about Orlando. And look what Orlando's doing right now. They've displaced Boston on the in-season tournament. They're playing outstanding basketball. We saw them against the Raptors, the energy they played with. Is there a big difference in talent when you look at Orlando and Toronto? No. If anything, I think Toronto has more talent.
I do too.
But they play hard.
Yeah.
They play hard. So if I'm Toronto, I'm looking at that and go, you know what? Look where they are. We're better than them. We just got to do the same thing.
I'm seeing that from Scottie Barnes.
Yeah.
I tell you what, he looked like forget the offense tonight. he looked like an all-defensive player tonight. I mean, he was in the grill of whoever he was guarding, and he's playing like, usually great players, they give it to you on the offensive end, they maybe take a few plays off here.
Well, that's Chicago.
Yeah.
The offensive players don't guard.
I tell you what, Scottie Barnes, he's playing like a two-way player. I mean, really, really impressed with how hard he's playing, how engaged he is.
This is something he talked about before the season started, and he's really carrying it out. Like night in and night out, you can feel like he's right up there with OG in terms of trying to lock guys down.
Yeah, so I made that point today. I said, maybe I'm crazy, but, we talk about OG being an all-defensive player. Why couldn't Scottie Barnes be an all-defensive?
Easily.
Right.
If he plays the way he's playing right now, the intensity, I mean, he can't be.
And he's bigger and longer than OG.
Yeah. He's actually got more defensive upside.
Yeah.
I thought an interesting play that kind of, to me, demonstrated that.
That huge block.
Chicago ran a screen roll, and Vucevic ended up with the ball underneath, and he thought, no, it was Levine ended up with the ball underneath on Pirtle. He thought, oh, my big guy must be open. He looked for his big guy, and there was Scottie denying. Right, a guy almost the same size saying, no, you're not going to get it to your big guy with an advantage.
Right.
And I just thought, to your point, Jack, kind of dialed in as to what's going on.
Yeah, you guys mentioned Pascal, we mentioned Scottie. Was there another performance, Leo, that stood out to you? Obviously.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Dennis Schroeder and what he's done all season. I mean, Jakob had a good game too, but, Dennis, what I like about him, he is, despite the fact that he's been scoring, he's a pass-first point guard. He looks to create, looks to find guys, right? He does a great job of penetrating, getting into the seams, getting to the rim. Really quick first step, just exposed by guys. But his shot selection to me has been really good. He'll take the three, he'll take the pull-up, he'll take a little turnaround.
He's not taking bad ones.
No, exactly. That's probably a better way to put it. It's not just shot selection. He doesn't take bad shots. And when your point guard isn't forcing shots, is distributing the basketball, is getting into people on defense, there's a lot of good things. I mean, I really like what he's doing.
It's contagious too, right? When he's not taking bad shots, come down, jack it up, somebody, oh, my turn now. Like, I haven't touched the ball in a while. The point guard's not distributed. I better get mine now. There's none of that happening.
Or your point guard looking for a shot every time down. He doesn't look for a shot. He takes if it's there. And there's a big difference, right? There's a big difference.
And he and Jakob Pertl are great tag team partners. They really have a good chemistry going. And I was really impressed with Gary Trent Jr. tonight. He had struggled the last few games. He missed those 2 free throws late against Indy. How's he going to respond? And I thought tonight he played.
He really benefited from the ball movement. That ball found him. That ball found him.
Right.
Another guy that I'm watching come back after injury and kind of play his way back in is Precious Achiuwa. You think about what he's been through in his young career. He goes to Miami, and they put him in a box. Rebound, don't shoot, play defense, like that's your role. Comes to Toronto, and they kind of
deservedly so too, right? He had to get the you got to develop those skills first.
They take the chains off in Toronto and say, all right, develop those skills.
Yes, right.
And the first half of the first season here, it was, oh my goodness, what is going on here? Second half of that season, he's making threes, he's taking better shots, he's defending, it clicks. He's good last year like that. Boom, now he's got a new coach. Now your role changes. You're a screener, you're a distributor in the high post. We still expect the defense. And I'm watching him adapt to all of this. And again, the light's going on for him. He's like, okay, this is what you want from me. This is what I'm going to do. I've really been impressed with him.
And I'll tell you what, I made this point during the game tonight. There's pressure on Achiuwa because I made this point. The other night against Indiana, the Raptors were plus 14 with Otto Porter on the floor.
Yeah.
They lost the other minutes when he didn't play. Now you can say Otto Porter. Well, you know what? Having a guy who's a veteran, smart, makes open shots, you got to guard him wherever he goes. Things are pretty calm. Achiuwa is more of a high-risk type of guy, and you kind of don't know what you're going to get from him.
Yeah.
But you know what? He doesn't play the other night. The Raptors play well with the minutes he was going to get. So now there's that internal pressure like, hey, man, if I don't play well, they could put Otto Porter in my minutes.
Yeah.
And he's going to be solid. He doesn't have the So it's actually having a little depth creates that competition to make him a better player.
When I'm watching Gary Trent today, I was like, okay, this feels like a bit of a bigger step in the right direction, right? He hasn't been the Gary Trent that I think we know, like put up a 30-piece, even off the bench. But
My own feeling with Gary is he was and has been kind of looking for his level, water to find its level in the offense, and where are my shots coming from, how, what unit am I playing with, all of those things. And I think it's starting to crystallize for him. I really, really do.
What are you seeing from him?
Okay, first of all, one of the injuries, they said he had plantar fasciitis, right?
That's a tough injury.
If that's bad, that's a hard thing to play with.
Yeah.
It can affect your lift, affects the way you run. So I don't know the extent of it. So I'm just going to assume that that's been a part of this because I've been through it, and that's a nightmare. But I think that again, the ball finds him when it pops, right? And in a game like this, the ball, he just got to spots and the ball was there. So I think that if the ball is moving like that, Gary's going to get great shots. And he was also aggressive at both ends. And one of the moves he took down went right at Alex Caruso, just brought it right in front of him, up and that's Gary Trent basketball.
Right.
And I think he's a perfect fit for how they're trying to play.
Yeah.
And he's got to trust that too.
Yeah.
And they got to be conscious.
Forget about starting, not starting, any of that.
Yeah, they got to be conscious of getting him shot opportunities because look, he's a scorer, he's a bucket getter, so he wants to have the leather in his hand. So he's not one of those guys that you got to get him involved.
Hey, his teammates, a couple of times, there were shots at the top of the key. They kicked it.
Yeah.
They kicked it.
OG threw him one.
Scottie did.
And you got to feed him a little bit. You got to get him going, and he'll give you the other things then. So you got to respect what his game's about.
OG was amazing. Like this guy, when he shoots like that, they are hard to beat.
Listen, 16 games in, they're 500.
I'll take it.
I will too. Like I said, 5 of the 8 losses have been to the top 3 teams. Well, now with Orlando, the top 4 teams in the East, right?
Good point.
2 to Boston, 2 to Philly,
Philadelphia.
1 to Milwaukee, 1 to Orlando. They've lost to good teams, right? So find your level and work toward that.
Defensively, do you feel like they were obviously when you play Indiana, it's a bit of an up and down game, but do you feel like defensively they were what they should be?
I think they had some big possessions tonight where they made the Bulls have to go deep into the shot clock and take tough shots. I mean, they're not going to be perfect, but I thought tonight they were very engaged defensively. They're playing differently than they played a year ago.
Yes.
And it's a different look. So a lot of it's contain, contest, block out, rebound, then run. Whereas the last few years, and no knock on Nick Nurse, he just felt the way they had to play. He felt that was the most important way to play because that would generate offense. So it's less of that style and more of a conservative style.
So even against Indiana, which is a different type of team. Now, if you went into the playoffs, that game would slow down. But in a regular season, it's going to stay fast, right? What did they get against Indiana? They got critical stops. They got stops and they had to get the stops, right? And so I think now. I'm more concerned about all the good things we're talking about the other way, because Indiana and Chicago are bad defensive teams. So now you got to kind of put a little perspective on what you're getting offensively.
You're 120.
Yeah, right. But I'm happy with the way the defense is going. I'm happy with the offense is going. But remember, you just beat 2 poor defensive teams.
You hang your hat on your defense.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the stuff that.
With the personnel you have with these guys?
Exactly. And as Jack said, they're playing it a little bit more traditional this year. And I thought they started out with great energy defensively, kind of sagged in the middle.
Yeah.
And then fourth quarter, when they needed to, they made a muscle and they got some stops. And I think, Jack and Leo always talk about building habits. I think they're building in this new system and this more traditional style of play.
Right.
I think they're building good habits and they are trusting it more. I really believe that.
All right, well, speaking of habits, it is time for our fan of the night. So please give a round of applause for Brian Danzo. Brian, where are you at? Brian, what's up? How are you, man? You good?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm chilling, man. Chilling. Here you go. Take the mic.
You good?
You know these guys?
Yes, sir. Yep, everybody knows these
You know
guys.
Jones and Jack. You got a question or comment for the panel?
Yes, I do. My question's in regard to the in-season tournament. I want to know all of your perspectives about the future of the in-season tournament for the NBA 2 years from now, 5 years from now. What
I think it's here to stay. There's no downside to it if you look at it that way. You're taking Tuesdays and Friday nights. You're not adding games to the schedule. Makes a little bit more intensity for the fans, can buy into something too. You see the court, you see the whole thing. So, what's the objective? You want the NBA wants guys playing hard every night.
Yeah, make the regular season worth something.
So you're adding, and we've been exposed to it in Europe. It's a normal thing in Europe. So. I like it, and I think it's here to stay.
To me, Brian, I mean, I'm an old-fashioned, traditional guy. Every game should matter.
Yeah.
The regular season, for me, every game matters. But I thought the other night something very interesting. When the Lakers won their tournament game, and Lisa Salters of ESPN was interviewing LeBron, at the end of the interview, LeBron stepped back and said, "We're 2-0, right? It's 500,000, right?" And it's kind of like everybody kind of not sure about it. Some people see it as gimmicky. I'm a golf fan.
Yeah.
When they brought in the FedEx Cup and said, "Oh, we're going to have golf playoffs for the first time, and we're going to give $10 million to the winner," and everybody goes, "What is this? There's 4 majors." You know who won the first 2 FedEx Cups?
I don't know.
Tiger Woods. Instant credibility.
Yeah.
Right? And now they're a staple. And I look at the way things are going now. The Lakers are 4-0.
Right.
LeBron wants to win this thing maybe for his legacy, maybe for the $500,000.
Maybe for Vegas.
Maybe
Yeah.
Vegas.
And you know what,
Jack,
you know what I think too?
And to me, Brian, to your point, as Leo said, I think it's here to stay, and it's bringing just a little more juice to some of the
And when all those teams that didn't make it are watching the 2 teams in Vegas play,
Monday Night Football.
Man, would have been nice to be there.
Monday Night
And for,
Football,
the,
right?
and for the fans as well, because I knew coming into today's game, it's a regular season game. I always hate after a loss, but I even told my friend, if we lose this game, I'm going to be like extra mad since it's an in-season tournament game, and I did not want to see an L tonight for sure.
One thing I'd like to see maybe is if they could bunch it together a little bit more. I don't like the idea of playing a tournament game and like Sunday night now at Cleveland, and then Tuesday night a tournament game against Brooklyn. So there's got and the other thing, I think the difficulty of doing this time of year for all the teams and referees and TV crews, radio, whatever, is the fact that you're right near the holidays and trying to organize all this stuff on the fly. It's not easy with travel arrangements and hotels and flights, and I think there's some challenges. So I think they'll figure that. The other thing I'd like to see is let's get a luxury, like high-end luxury card name, whatever that brand is. So not only you win the tournament, but you get
A brand new
a Bentley,
car,
high-end vehicle,
Mercedes-Benz, what have you.
whatever it is, a Rolls Royce, whatever.
I think the players should take the 500. We should get the car.
Yeah, Leo Rautins, if the team, the Raptors win it, Leo gets a Bentley.
Maybe a fan draw for the winning team. Maybe
shares the Bentley.
Maybe a membership.
6 months a year. It's a loaner.
I get it Tuesday, Friday. You get it Wednesday, Sunday. Right?
You ready to shoot for a prize?
Yep,
Or spin for a prize and shoot for the prize to get the prize?
Get the tickets, Brian.
All right.
Get the tickets, baby.
The tickets we got. Oh no, tickets are not on there.
No tickets?
We got, but we do have a signed jersey on there.
No tickets.
Who took the tickets off?
Someone won.
Someone won the ticket?
Yeah. We got
We only had
mug, we
one
got
set of
socks,
tickets?
We have a limited budget.
Entrees, T-shirt.
Randy, what kind of scam is this?
That's not bad. You got to make the shot.
What kind of
T-shirt.
scam is this on the tickets, Randy?
Shirt.
Oh.
Well, you know what? Maybe
Brian,
maybe a
you wanna
T-shirt's
dunk
too
it?
much.
You want to dunk it? Maybe don't hang on.
All right, here we go.
You
Some
win.
ups.
You win. What did you win? A T-shirt. A T-shirt.
got some
All right,
ups.
we got it coming. Here we go. Oh, Jesus.
Hey, we throw it at contestants? We
going
throw
on here?
T-shirts at contestants?
Show it up to
You guys are angry over here. Hey, you don't
Thank you very much.
Do you want a shout out to anybody at home?
Yeah, just a quick shout out to my mom out in Hamilton, one of the biggest Raptor fans I know, and I got a brother out in Atlanta too. He watches every game too, so love you guys.
All right, here we go.
Mom. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on.
All
right, Moms. Yeah, I threw a t-shirt.
Is your brother Christian?
I got
He was throwing it right at you.
Hey, I got an
Some
issue.
anger issues between the two of you guys. You
When
got to
did you
resolve
cheap
these.
out on the tickets?
No, the tickets were one.
A one-shot
and then-
deal?
No. And
Like
then
we had 2 tickets for the whole thing?
They've been replaced for a signed jersey, and then when that goes, more tickets go up. So there's 2 premium prizes.
Why don't you have a signed jersey, tickets, all that every night?
Why don't you pay for it?
Hey, look,
I told you it's cheap
and
out.
one thing I know, it's not coming out of your pocket.
Maybe we could do a Vanna White, like the gold piece there for the gold.
Yeah. Wait, you're bad. Those are great prizes.
I'm just saying, man, you're cheaping out.
Those are great prizes.
Then
All right.
you throw the T-shirt at the contestant's head.
Randy's that guy that counts the paper clips, okay? All right?
I am not that guy. I don't even know what that guy does. What does that even mean?
Oh, well, I can tell you off air.
All right. Favorite. All right, we got a question from Sher Khan. Sher Khan, he's from YouTube. Watches
It's not
on
about
YouTube.
food, is it?
He watches. No, it's for the panel. How do you feel about the Raptors' record at this point with a reasonably decent schedule up ahead? Expectations were mixed before the start of the season after losing Fred.
I like it. I think anytime you stay attached to 500 with a team with a new coach, a new point guard, and they've had a difficult schedule to Jonesy's point. I like where they're at. I feel really good. I feel really good right now that they're 8-8. I feel really good about the spirit. Tonight we had Coach Darko
Mic'd up. Yeah.
So I could hear all the huddles, and I could hear all the interactions. These guys are dialed in. I won't repeat anything that was said. These guys are dialed into what's going on right now. There's a good spirit. So to be 8-8, they're winning enough. I think the players are looking, going, yeah, this coach knows what he's doing. I believe in it. Look at the number of great plays that are happening when they come out of timeouts.
Yes.
And you guys know, a lot of it comes down to you believe in your coach. When you come out of a timeout, he says, this is what we're running, and you run it. A lot of teams, they go, I ain't running that. I don't believe in that guy. I'm getting mine. They're in a good spot right now.
Yeah, I'm good with the 8-8 for all the reasons that we talked about. The tough schedule, as Jack said, new coach, new system. People are like, oh, they've lost Fred. And they replaced him with Schroeder. Schroeder's perfect for this system.
Schroeder's done a good job.
He's a guy who's played without the ball with LeBron and Jason Tatum and Paul George and Chris Paul. Like, he's perfect for this system. And to Jack's point about believing in the coach, you're hanging around 500 while you're learning it. There will be a point in the season where maybe they'll reel off 4 or 5 straight wins, and all of a sudden, the way the standings are in the East, you make a jump. So I'm fine with where they are right now. I said originally, give me 20 to 25 games. I'm starting to see it now at game 16.
You agree?
I said this team is better than last year's team, and I think they're going to have a better record. And I think it's going to be a playoff team. I said that from the start, and obviously some rough patches here and there, but I like where it's going.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, Randy, we talk about the spirit of the team. I mean, the spirit of the show is lacking. I mean,
Why is that?
I'm
Why
just
is
saying
that?
the spirit of the show is lacking.
All right, well, I'll bring it back.
Like Jonesy's upset. Jack's not the same Jack.
I'm not the same.
I don't know what's going on.
Jack, you seem like the same.
Well, you're not
We
giving
got
tickets
Brian
away.
wondering
I know.
why somebody threw a T-shirt in his head. There was
Giving
no
the guy a
tickets.
poor T-shirt. Your brother's
I
throwing
didn't
T-shirts
say
at
that.
you.
That's a
Like-
good. That's a good T-shirt. I went and bought that at Real Sports Apparel. It was a nice T-shirt.
Oh, that's beautiful.
First, one question before we go. You guys saw what Popovich did on the mic during the middle of the game. the
Let
other night?
me say this. If they were booing Uncle Dennis, he wouldn't go on the mic. Okay? Okay, he understands that Kawhi plays in the league, so he's going to protect the player.
That's an inside line there, folks.
Very subtle.
I'm okay with what he did if that's what he feels.
Yeah.
That's not who we are. But because he probably felt that booing was directed personally at Kawhi.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have done it in the post-game news conference. That's all. But hey, if that's the way he
I liked
feels,
it. I mean,
do your
it's something
thing.
we've never seen before
in the
ever
NBA. But
in the NBA, and I love it.
Look,
It happens
I'll
in
say
college.
this.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Bobby Knight, on a few different occasions, got on the microphone to get after
Yeah.
the fans about different things. And Pop has a little of that in him. There's a little of that.
Hey, Pop also has a lot of money, a long career, a lot of
It
success.
don't matter. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants. You know?
It's like Jonesy over there.
And Leo. Leo's had a lot of career.
These are the sage,
dictating the
day
Spirit
one
Awards over
veterans
here.
of this operation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, great stuff. Good to stop it there. Next game for the Raptors Sunday night in Cleveland against the Cavaliers. Tip-off was
Randy's going to get some tickets and stop cheaping
Yeah,
out.
he's going to start giving.
Raptors
Forget
night.
the T-shirts.
We'll go
We're
live on
going big
YouTube
here.
after the game. Thanks for watching. We'll see you
Round trip
next time.
ticket to
To Cleveland.
Cleveland. Yeah.